Radio Bypass, bringing you rock and roll music that deserves to be heard. Discover new bands. Here's some old favorites on Radio Bypass.
Hey, rockers. Joining us today is Terri, Lawrenz, and Todd Magnuson from the band Blond Viper, who have recently released an epic single called Represent. This track caught my attention and interest in learning more about the band and the song. Welcome, guys.
Thank you.
Yeah, nice to be here. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you for stopping by Radio Bypass. So I was telling you guys before we got started that obviously I just became aware of you because of Represent, the epic single that we'll talk about. But that, of course, prompted me to learn a little bit more about you. And I got a chance, a little bit of time, not as much as I would like, to peruse some of your music and look through your website a little bit. See, you've got several albums out, which I'm looking forward to in the coming weeks, featuring some of that music on our weekly music show as well. But I thought maybe you just give us a little bit of background on the band. I know it's on your website, but our audience maybe isn't familiar with you. So I thought maybe you give us a little bit of background on how you guys came together, and then we'll talk about the killer new single.
All right. Well, Todd and I actually started in television about 20 years ago. We met on a commercial shoot. And so we ended up doing a lot of different projects together over the last, I suppose like 18 years or so. We were doing a lot of television, different projects, movies, you name it. We had a very popular television series that aired worldwide. We had that for 10 years. And then COVID came along and we kind of switched gears a little bit because Todd was getting stir crazy, not being able to travel or have a creative outlet. So he decided he was going to pull up some of his old music that he made when he was with a band back 20 years ago. So he was going to redo some of those songs. And of course, he always drags me into his projects. So
Kicking and screaming.
Let's start a band. So we did. And obviously the name Blond Viper comes from blonde. And Viper is meaningful because our show that we did previously, we did live snake shows.
Oh, wow.
With it. So he's always been a huge reptile fan. So Viper kind of is a play on our reptiles that we used to travel around with.
Yeah,
I thought maybe it was the car.
Yeah. I wish I had one. The television show was called Nature Adventures. And yeah, it was based, animal. We go around and film animals and things like that. So yeah, Blond Viper, that kind of made sense for us for a name.
He was well known as being the guy who was crazy, the crazy guy that would pick up snakes.
Right.
So we went on fairs and shows and different things. So that's how we were known.
Gotcha.
So anyway.
So you dusted off these songs in the beginning.
Yeah, out of absolute boredom. We couldn't film. We weren't doing anything. And so, yeah, I was actually in an AC/DC tribute band back in 25, 30 years ago. And we did some original songs too. I wrote some original songs. And yeah, I just kind of, there were songs I never finished from that. They didn't end up in any albums, but I really got back into the music. And I thought, let's just do this now. So.
Gotcha. And when did it looks like there's 3 or 4 albums that you guys have created. How many?
There's three done and one out soon. We've got one recorded. We're waiting to get it mixed and mastered. And, so yeah, we'll have three hard rock, Blond Viper, and then we have kind of I Can't Ever Sit Still. So we did kind of an acoustic album too. Just her and I did that, and that's out now too. So.
Got it. Okay. And this is all within the last 4 years?
Yeah.
It's actually 4 years, I guess you could say. 4 years is when we started bringing other people on board with us to help. So it turned into an actual band rather than him and I just fiddling around with some music.
Right.
Right.
And you guys are based in South Dakota.
Right.
Oh, right. Yeah. And you guys play regularly in that area? Do you travel at all?
We don't really play much live, just for the fact that we do all originals. And honestly, there isn't a venue around here that we could do that at. It's all covers. Any bands around here play covers in bars. So we haven't done that. We'll do the acoustic thing, at places. But yeah, but as far as us playing as a full band live, we actually have never done that yet. So
Got it. Well, I hope that changes for you and you guys get a chance to do that. Yeah, where I come from in Chicago, it's kind of the same thing now. In the 80s, we had a great, and 70s too, had a great scene for, original music. But it's kind of the same thing there now. You pretty much have to be a tribute band or a cover band if you want to get work. Otherwise, you don't get booked, which for me is very unfortunate because even though I'm older now, I still love original music and I still love new music and learning about new bands such as yours. I enjoy all that stuff. I don't really need to go hear Led Zeppelin played by other people at this stage of my life. I want to hear new, different stuff that I haven't heard before. But nostalgia is everything that most people care about. There's look away.
Yeah, find up my leg.
Both of the dogs came in here now.
No, I'm with you on that exact everything you said. Exactly, that's how we feel too. So,
yeah. Well, let's talk about Represent because that seemed pretty mind-blowing to me. I discussed it a little bit with Ron Keel last week because he was on the show just recently, and we talked a little bit about it. And I'm just so very curious how this all came to be. I mean, number one, so many guitars, which I love. Just how the whole thing came about, and then I love that you're also trying to promote a charitable cause here too. So, so where did Represent come from? Did that start with you then, Todd?
Well, Eldon Fisher, he plays lead guitar in Blond Viper, and our songwriting, the way we kind of do it is, we're both at home. He'll send me he'll sit down on the guitar and just play for half an hour and he'll come up with licks and I'll listen to that and I'll take pieces and I'll put together songs. That's kind of how we write things. And he sent me a few riffs and I put together Represent. Okay. So Represent was just going to be a Blond Viper song. And he had the idea, we had a couple albums out already. Nobody's listening to them, just the way it goes. We're not
now.
Yeah, you are now. And he said, let's get a couple of guitar players to play on this. And at the very least, they'll buy the album then because they're on it. I thought that's a great idea.
That turned into 16 guitarists, a harmonica player, and 6 vocalists.
Yeah, he just kept. This project took years to do, and because he kept adding people, and then he thought, let's ask Ron. Maybe Ron Keel will want to be on it too, and he did, and everything turned out the way it did. It turned out into this epic 9.5-minute song with all these, various. Some of the players are singing on this song have never really done anything, like this. They've never really recorded before. They just play for fun. And then we have, Ron Keel, so we've got the whole spectrum of different kinds of musicians from total amateur to, top of the heap. And so, it just turned into its own thing. And Eldon Fisher, again, he's the one that kept going, well, I got to add this guy. So then he'd make the song a little longer and a little longer and a little longer. And I got to tell you, I played bass on it, and our drummer, just to get through the song, he was exhausted
I can imagine.
with all the changes and everything. So, yeah.
Well, I appreciate Eldon for adding all these guitars, though. As a guitar fan, I love it. But yeah, I can understand for your drummer, that's a lot.
Yeah.
I assume everybody recorded their piece separately, though. You guys didn't do this all in one live shot.
Yeah, everything was recorded at their house except the drums. We went into the studio to do the drums, of course. But yeah, everybody just did it. They'd send their part over. Sometimes it was a nightmare for us to sync everything up. And but yeah, it was a lot of work, but it was definitely worth it. It was a challenge, but it was fun.
Yeah, if you haven't had a chance to look at the video, it's little clips of everybody doing their little parts. And we just kind of put it all together and we made a video out of it. Added some pieces to it. We got some people that are big supporters of the local music scene here in the area to be extras on the video. And we just had a lot of fun with it.
Nice. Well, I will admit I have not watched the video because, well, unlike you guys being TV people, I'm an old radio guy, so I'm more an audio than a visual guy. I always said I have a face made for radio, not for television. So I don't watch videos too. So I always like to hear music first, especially if it's a conceptual type video or something. I always like to hear music first and decide what's it speaking to me and what does it mean to me before I see somebody else's vision of what that song represents. In your case, it sounds like I wouldn't necessarily have any problem with that, but I will watch it. So you guys get this thing done. You've got Ron involved. He's releasing it via his RFK media, which is cool. Double A side, so to speak. We got the edited version and the full on version. But then how did it come to be that you're, involved with the Tunnels to Tower charity and stuff? How did that all come to be?
You want to take that one?
I'm not really sure. I think you talked more about that. So
Well, the thing is when, with so many people involved, even though, music royalties are, point, 0.001 penny for every play and everything. We thought, well, even still, even if we only get 10 plays out of this, we don't want somebody to say, well, we're fine. So we decided right off the bat that anything we make on this was before Ron or anything. This is back when we were going to have 3 guitar players. We'll just put it out and we'll donate any proceeds we make from it to charity. So, and then as it grew and Ron got involved, he's the one that suggested the Tunnels for Towers, and we thought that's perfect. And so, yeah, that's how that came about.
Got it. Yeah, I mean, I love the idea. I was just curious if that was something near and dear to you or something like that, why you chose that particular one. A lot of times there's a story there, right? Somebody's doing it for the American Cancer Society or this or that because we're touched in different ways by different things. So I wasn't sure what made you choose that one, but it's a great one. And that's part of the reason I wanted to, have you guys on to talk about it, because it's something that I think everybody would want to support. And guys, go download this thing. It's available now on RFK Media, I know. Do you guys have it on your website as well for download?
It is on our YouTube channel.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, we'll have to put since we're kind of a 2-person show. Yeah. Oh, yeah. When you say that, oh, yeah, we should have put that on our website.
No, I don't know. I did. I do so much that sometimes I don't know what I did. If I haven't, I meant to, and I will.
Yeah, we'll soon if it's not already.
Got it. Okay.
And of course, all the music services out there, it's Spotify, Apple Music, things like that. It's there. So.
Right. But I think it's better if people download the song and own it, because maybe that brings a teeny bit more money for the charity too.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. We would certainly prefer that. Yeah.
Yeah. So do that, guys. And that's at rfkmedia.com for sure. You can download this epic track, and you're going to hear the full version at the end of our chat here. All right, so that kind of answers my questions about that. I love the Tunnel to Towers Foundation, so remember that's what the proceeds go to if you download the song. Plus, you just get an earful of cool guitar, cool vocals, and a song that was years in the making, apparently.
Yeah, because Eldon kept adding players, and I'm glad he did. I mean, I'm like you. I'm sure that the guitar player, to hear all those solos and the different stuff, and some of these guys, honestly, I didn't, there's guys that live a few miles away, and I never met them before. I had no idea they could play and it just blew me away. Some of these guys, just amazing talent around here, in South Dakota, and that's something that people probably don't realize. But yeah, there's a lot of very talented people around here.
Yeah, I mean, you certainly don't necessarily think of that as a hotbed of rock and roll activity, right?
Right.
But nowadays, that's what I love too. Like I find doing the show that I do, I find music from all kinds of places that you wouldn't necessarily think of. The days of everything being for hard rock being L.A., maybe New York, maybe Chicago a little bit. We had a little bit of a heyday in the 80s, but it's not like that anymore. It's really everywhere. And talented people are able to get the word out about them more easily. I mean, the internet's kind of a double-edged sword in a way. You know, there's some good things about it because you can advertise your stuff from some little place that maybe in the old days you wouldn't ever get noticed outside of your hometown or something. And now at least you can spread the word. But then, of course, the downside is it kind of killed the music business, and now there's no,
Right.
no real business, and seemed to kill original music in most places. I'm in Sacramento, California now. I've been living here the last 3 years or so. And at least here, I'm happy to see there are still some clubs that support original music, which makes me very happy. But at home, like I say, I know it's not, and sounds like you guys got the same problem. So that's the downside to where we are today. And of course, the 0.000000001 that you get for each stream is also very sad. But
Yeah.
that's always bothered me. I always tell people I'm a musician's advocate because most of my friends are musicians, but also because even when it was better, it was still the musician still is always the last person to get paid, you know, and it always bugged me because it's what they wrote and played and performed that got me excited to begin with or meant something to me. So I always feel like the musician should get paid first and then everybody else, but it just doesn't work that way. Now that it's down to nothing for the musician, it breaks my heart even more, which is why I like doing this show to help spread the word and maybe get you an extra 1/1,000,000th of a penny in your pocket or something.
Right. No, we appreciate the fact that there are shows like yours out there. You know, it's great. I've always lived by the mantra: if you sit at the table long enough, you'll eventually get fed. So that's kind of, we'll keep putting out music and we'll see what happens. So
Perfect. Okay. Well, is there anything else we should know about the band? Obviously, we don't have any live dates scheduled at this point in time. You do have the video, and the video's on your YouTube channels. The YouTube channel's just Blond Viper. People can just search YouTube,
Yeah.
Blond Viper. Okay.
Right.
I'm gonna
it's
do
on Ron's media, RK Media's.
RFK.
They've got the video on there too. So
Perfect. So guys, check that out. And you can learn more about Blond Viper as I did by visiting blondviper.com. And I definitely am going to order some of that music of your guys's. I think the album I listened to yesterday was Boom. So
right, that was our second album. Yep.
Yep, I liked what I heard there. Awesome. So, and your new album you said is coming out still in 2024? Or is it?
I would say really 2025. Hopefully, it's out of our hands right now with the person that's makes us sound just awesome. Mike Dresch, he's a world class mixer and masterer. So
that's who did the Represent song too, right?
Yeah. He
is.
Yep.
Yep, and he's a Hall of Famer here in South Dakota. So we're really glad to have the chance to work with him. Very talented.
Nice. All right, awesome. Well, we'll look forward to that album. I'll be watching for that. Anything else you want people to know about the band before we wrap up and cruise into Represent?
Well, no, I just I hope people check us out. I hope you like it.
Hopefully we get to play live for you one day. That's definitely our ultimate goal.
Right.
Whether it's in the form of the band Blond Viper or our little acoustic show, that's our ultimate goal, is to get out there and play some music for people.
Yep. Have fun.
Nice. All right, guys. Well, thanks for taking some time for Radio Bypass. Guys, this has been Todd and Terri from the band Blond Viper. And now you got an epic 9.5 minutes of some great guitars, some great vocals, and a really cool song. Check this out from Blond Viper. This is Represent. Thank you guys for coming by Radio Bypass.
Thank you.